here from Stampin'Up. Welcome back to my craft room this week. I am super excited to be doing this very simple stamp, ink and paper technique card with you. And the inspiration for this is about Christmas in the Southern Hemisphere. There's a lot of Christmas stuff happening at the moment as we are 12 weeks away from Christmas. And it's always the focus is a lot around the Northern Hemisphere themes of snow and polar bears and hot drinks. And those of us in the Southern Hemisphere often get left out. And I was inspired. This past weekend, I was at a Stampin' Up event and we were practicing this watercolor technique. And in the middle of the night, I thought, hang on, this is a perfect technique to make a Southern Hemisphere Christmas card that speaks of beaches and warm sunny days. And I live in New Zealand and we also have a fern. So I thought I'd combine it all together. So I'm going to keep it brief because I've been unwell the last 10 days. I don't want to do too much talking, otherwise I'm going to be coughing too much. So what you're going to need for this technique we're going to use today is a card base, a mat of your choice, and I'm actually using Fluid 100 paper. You can use this technique on ordinary cardstock, and that's what we did on Saturday, and I will just have that for you at the end just to show you what it looks like on ordinary cardstock, but I actually like how it came out on the Fluid 100 paper. So shall we get started? For this technique, you are going to need a clear acrylic block because you're going to color in on the block with 3 colors that you want to use. Now for mine, I took the sea theme and I went with Balmy Blue, Coastal Cabana and Crumb Cake. I thought that really just made me think of the ocean here in New Zealand. And you're going to use your right markers for these and the broad tip, and I'm just coloring in on that, mixing up my colors to make them sort of merge. And I'll put my crumb cake at the bottom, and I might just come in a little bit on the sides. Now, what I found was if I spritzed with my spritzer, it's got water in it, if I lightly just sprayed on my paper and then I went 2 sprays on my block, you just turn it over and pop it down and look at that sea theme develop in front of you. And every time you do this, it is completely different. So it's going to be fascinating to see what this one looks like. Okay. So let's lift that up. And I'm just going to lightly dab that. Of course, you can also let it dry, but I'm just going to use a dry cloth. And I'm just dabbing off the excess and giving it a little bit of, there we go, a little bit of interest there. Love it. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so I'm going to dry this now with my, I do need to dry off my block because we're going to, oh no, we won't be using that. I'm going to be using my Stamparatus. So do just dry off your block. That's a good idea to do that. You're going to need to let that dry. I'm going to dry that with my heat tool gun, and then once it's dried, I'll come back and we can continue stamping. All right, I'm really happy with how this is looking. So the next step we're going to do is I'm going to use the Stamparatus just so that I can have a bit more control. I used Stays On for this, and I didn't realize as I was inking it that my Stays On actually needed to be re-inked, so it was a little bit lighter than what I would have liked. So I'm going to now be using this gorgeous fern, and if you're wondering where that comes from, it is the Nature's Prince There it is, the Nature's Prince. So I'm going to just pop my fern about over there. And unfortunately our Stampin'Up is discontinued, so you can't get that any longer through Stampin'Up. And let me just pop this in. I'm using my StazOn ink because I've got it on water. Sorry, the glare's on the... And I'm just inking up my fern. As I said, the last one was too light. So I just want to do this a little bit darker. And I'm bringing that in here. The beauty of a Stampin'Up or any stamping assisting tool like this is that if you do it too light, so even there I am going to come back and re-ink that, is that you can come back and do it again, which is what I'm going to do now. Okay, come back, just using my thumb, and just a bit more on that side. Awesome. Right, I'm happy with that. Remember, when you use StazOn, you do need to use a StazOn cleaner. It's not, you can't use your ordinary water for it. It is a, you need to use a specific StazOn cleaner for it, and Stampin'Up do sell the StazOn cleaners. Right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to add our little bit of trim. So I just used some tear and tape, and I put it around where the base of my fern was. This is a nice cheat way of doing a ribbon or a bow if you don't like doing them. Just straighten up your twine and create a bow by folding it and then turning it around and doing another. I like to come and make a big loop around because you're going to put a sentiment on. Of course, it always, I use my fingernails to straighten the twine because they can get a little rebellious at this. See how it's twisting? So I'm just going to use my fingernail to just put it straight. It's almost like a naughty puppy that needs some training. Cut off the extra. Just hold that down nice and firm. And then on a piece of scrap of crumb cake, I'm going to use StazOn again. Just keeping that black. Or you could use Memento Black. You don't have to use StazOn. But I'm just going to do that for the sake of, and I'm going to just stamp up Happy Christmas. This is an old retired sentiment. I haven't found one, a simple Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas in the current catalogue. So I'm just going to trim a very simple sentiment here. Right, with my paper snips, putting it on with some mini dimensionals. It's looking a bit skew. Oh, come on. Cut some off. Now, while I'm doing this, I just want to quickly tell you that 12 Weeks to Christmas is a special newsletter subscriber 12 projects that I am sending exclusively to my newsletter subscribers, and it consists of cards, handmade gift ideas which I have personally made, and the tutorials are all in each week. You'll get one at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, your local news time, time zone, and you have to be part of my newsletter subscription service to receive my complimentary Christmas present for this year, for 2023. So I am going to have the link below for you to subscribe to that. And I would love it if you were to subscribe to my newsletter, and then you will automatically get that every Wednesday, 1 o'clock local time, in your inbox. All right, look at that. And I'm almost done. I'm just going to put mine on a basic white card base. Now, of course, you could put it on dimensionals, but if you're whipping up like 20 odd of these, time is of essence, isn't it? There we have it. A Kiwi Christmas, or if you are watching this in another Southern Hemisphere part of the world, I'm sure you could resonate with that. But if you are in New Zealand, that is a really beautiful Christmas card that resonates with me being in Kiwi land. So let me show you what I did on Saturday. And this is how we did it. I just added some speckle onto this. I used Poppy Parade and crushed curry here. And this is Dainty Delight. And then I just used the pen and fleckled. I haven't matted this at all yet. But this is where the inspiration came from. We were having a bit of a play with this technique at a demo event, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to make some Kiwi Christmas cards. So Merry Christmas. I hope that is an inspiration for those of you watching in the Southern Hemisphere, and that you can whip something up that reminds us of being at the beach. So don't forget, if you are watching me, if you subscribe to this channel, but you haven't yet subscribed to my newsletter, click on the link and get those free tutorials, because if you miss out, I don't send them. It's pretty much when they've gone for the next 12 weeks. All right, catch you next week. Thanks for crafting with me. Remember, until we meet again, to stamp, to eat, to sleep, and repeat. Bye.